In this video, we're talking all about how you can improve and move through a bad mood so that you can step back into your power and take on whatever challenge is coming your way head on. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to my channel. Codi and Smith here from Sovereign Solutions Podcast, and today I want to talk to you guys about how to move through a bad mood. Now, I want to first start this off by saying that a bad mood is not necessarily something that is bad, right? A bad mood can teach us a lot of things. Sometimes there's a lot of lessons behind these bad moods. Sometimes our gifts come out of these low periods of times in our lives. And sometimes they are here to help us grow and to catalyze change in our lives. And that is all absolutely necessary. It does not mean that you are any less spiritual. It does not mean that you are flawed. All it means is that you are human and that you are experiencing a low frequency emotion. Now, where this does become a challenge is when we cannot seem to get off of this bad mood cycle, when we're constantly running on the hamster wheel of pessimism and we're building up too much momentum in a direction that will eventually cause destruction. And that right there is what I'm going to talk about today and how we can move through that, because we don't have to become victims to our emotions. We don't have to stay on these wheels of negativity. And we actually have a choice to choose how we want to move forward in life, okay? No matter what's going on. So how does a bad mood actually happen, right? Well, I believe that most of the time, a bad mood it's something that happens below the level of our conscious awareness. So we have thoughts that are likely running below our level of awareness that are building up energetic momentum until we experience the explosion, also known as a bad mood. And sometimes we ask ourselves, how did this even happen? I didn't even see this coming. Why am I in such a bad mood? And other times there are specific triggers that trigger a bad mood, but there are things we can do to get off of that cycle. And the very first thing that we can do is to pause, because here's the thing. If we have built so much momentum in one direction and we have all these negative thoughts that are just cluttering up our mind, we cannot truly make decisions that are going to benefit us. So we've got to pause. We've got to allow all that scattered energy to be centralized back into our bodies, and we've got to be able to pause, right? And from that pause, we can then see where we're sitting. When we're in a bad mood, that energy is just wild and we can't seem to really truly grasp fully what is going on. So by pausing, we are able to really get calm in the mind, calm in the body, and then we can take on whatever the challenge is or whatever is the cause of this bad mood in the first place. All right, so once we take that pause, it's important that we can tap into our center again. We have these things called dantians in our body, and they're basically energy centers. They are kind of like chakras, but they are not a chakra, but they do help us to tap into the center of our being, and they run along the spine as well. Here's actually a picture of what they look like. By tapping into this center, we start to feel more grounded. We start to feel more stabilized within our being. And that's exactly what we need so we can bring ourselves back to the present moment. So by finding our center, that's when we actually start to feel like we can tap into our power of choice. Everything always has a choice, right? We always have a choice to choose how we want to feel, whether we realize it or not. But we don't realize that unless we can bring ourselves back to this center. And then after you fully realize that you have the power to create new choices, that's when we start to reframe our thoughts. It's not so important to see what it was that we were thinking, but what is important is that we can reframe our way of thinking. We can start to cultivate the thoughts that we want to hold. Some powerful statements that I recommend using is, I choose to be okay right now. I choose to feel peace in my body right now. I choose to feel empowered right now. I choose to let go of any negative emotion that is not serving my highest good in this moment. I choose to see the world through different eyes now. I choose to move forward in my power. These reframes are going to help you to move out of that bad mood, because really our bad moods are emotions that typically follow the thoughts, right? When we have a thought, we have an emotional response to that thought, but it's not always linear either. So sometimes there's emotional stuff that's going on that also trigger these negative thoughts. So by getting really still and centralizing our energy and pulling our attention back into our bodies and then reframing our thoughts, that's when we can start to choose to move forward in our power. Okay? And that's how we move out of a bad mood. That's why, not out of a bad mood, but that's how we move through a bad mood. Because we're not really trying to get rid of the bad mood. We're not trying to escape the bad mood. We are trying to embrace it and integrate it. And that's why when you see people saying, well, if you're in a bad mood, just go for a jog, and there's nothing really wrong with that. However, the integration piece typically doesn't happen, then it gets sidestepped. This process helps you to truly come back into your body so that you can integrate those negative emotions, those bad moods, those lower frequencies, and learn how to transmute them. All right. So I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, please hit like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And if you really love what you see here on this channel, I want to invite you to leave a small donation, and you can do that down in the comments through Venmo or PayPal. Anything is appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your week. I'll talk to you later.